Most people have no idea how much their minds are being shaped, warped even, by what they consume in private. They think what happens on a screen is harmless, that digital indulgence leaves no scar. But the truth is more uncomfortable. Explicit media is quietly stealing our ability to connect, eroding the very roots of intimacy and trust. It makes men weaker, relationships colder, and hearts more distant. You feel it, even if you won't admit it. You wonder why closeness fades, why desire seems to turn to dust, why you feel lonely even when you're not on. This is the silent epidemic, and it's time to face it head on. There's a reason you feel less alive after binging, scrolling, indulging in the easy pleasure that promises everything and delivers only emptiness. The world pretends it's normal, but normal doesn't mean healthy. If you want to build real strength, real connection, real passion, you must understand the ancient wisdom that our ancestors lived by, the iron laws of masculinity, and the psychological traps that keep men weak and reactive. I will show you timeless principles to reclaim your mind, ignite true intimacy, and build a relationship that stands unbreakable in the storm. This is not about denial or shame. It's about power, clarity, and the courage to become the kind of man you respect. Weakness kills attraction. When a man is ruled by instant gratification, he becomes passive, drained, and uncertain. Every time you reach for the easy escape, you tell your mind that comfort matters more than purpose. Stoicism teaches us that true strength is forged in discipline, in choosing what is hard over what is easy, in walking away from indulgence when others chase it. The man who cannot control his appetites is a slave, not a leader. Relationships thrive on polarity, on the magnetic force of a man who owns his desires, who channels them into action, who is present and grounded. When you surrender to the pull of explicit media, you lose that edge. You become the follower, not the creator. Attraction withers, respect fades, and the fire dies out. If you want to be desired, start by desiring mastery over your impulses. Closeness demands presence, not distraction. There is a myth that you can consume anything in private, and it will stay private. But the mind does not work this way. What you feed it in secret bleeds out in public. When a man spends hours chasing digital illusions, he becomes less able to be here, now, with the real person in front of him. His attention fractures, his empathy dulls, his capacity for true intimacy shrinks. Stoics knew that to be present is the highest form of love, a gift of undivided attention, of seeing and hearing and feeling without judgment or escape. If you want closeness, you must protect your attention like a lion guards its territory. Turn off the noise. Look into her eyes. Let every word and touch carry the weight of your full presence. That's how you build a connection that outlasts temptation. Reactive men are easy to control. The world is full of triggers, and explicit media is the most potent of all. The man who reacts without thought is a puppet, pulled by every flashing image, every surge of emotion, every fleeting urge. Stoicism is about becoming unshakable. It's about choosing your response, not being hijacked by your environment. When you consume explicit media, you train your brain to chase novelty, to seek out a rush instead of facing discomfort. But real men are forged in discomfort. They stand their ground. They feel the urge, acknowledge it, and let it pass like a wave. That's the difference between a boy and a man. A boy chases, a man waits, watches, and acts only when it serves his highest values. This practice of self-command is the foundation of powerful relationships because it shows your partner and yourself that you can be trusted to lead, not just react. Intimacy is built on vulnerability, not fantasy. The more you escape into digital illusions, the less willing you are to face the raw, beautiful, sometimes uncomfortable reality of real connection. Fantasy is easy. Vulnerability is hard. Stoic wisdom tells us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. If you want a relationship that goes deep, you must be brave enough to bring your whole self, strengths and flaws, to the table. You must risk rejection, misunderstanding, awkwardness. Real intimacy is not about escaping into perfection. It's about embracing imperfection together. When you stop feeding on fantasy, you open yourself to the messy, electrifying, life-affirming experience of true love. Walking away is strength, not weakness. The world tells you to indulge, to consume, to never say no. But every time you walk away from what weakens you, you grow stronger inside. Stoicism is not about suppressing desire. It's about transforming it into fuel for greatness. When you refuse to let explicit media control your mind, you reclaim your power. You stand taller, speak with conviction, love with intention. You are no longer a leaf blown by the wind, but a mountain unmoved by storms. This is the kind of strength that women crave, that inspires respect from other men, that builds a legacy. And it starts with one choice: to walk away from what makes you small and walk toward what makes you whole. Real connection grows in the soil of trust. Trust is not just about fidelity. It's about knowing your partner is present, honest, and committed to growth. When you hide, lie, or escape into secret indulgence, you plant seeds of doubt. Stoic men choose honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. They own their choices, admit their mistakes, and invite their partners into their world. This vulnerability builds trust, and trust is the foundation on which closeness is built. If you want a relationship that survives temptation and time, invest in radical honesty. It's the most masculine thing you can do. Masculinity is not about domination. It's about self-mastery. The world confuses aggression with strength, but true masculine power is quiet, disciplined, and unbreakable. Stoicism teaches us to rule ourselves before we try to rule others. When you master your appetites, your emotions, your reactions, you become the kind of man who can lead, inspire, and love deeply. This is the antidote to the weakness that explicit media breeds. A life lived with purpose, not just pleasure. Desire is fuel, not a master. The Stoics never denied that men are driven by desire. They simply refuse to be ruled by it. When you channel your energy into growth, into building, into loving with intensity, you transform your life. Don't waste your fire on empty illusions. Use it to forge a life that means something. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than you were yesterday. Every time you choose presence over distraction, discipline over indulgence, honesty over secrecy, you become stronger. Relationships are not destroyed by one mistake. They are eroded by daily choices. Choose the hard path. Choose the path of the Stoic warrior. Control your mind. not your partner. You cannot force anyone to love you, to trust you, to be close to you, but you can become the kind of man who inspires love, trust, and closeness by mastering your own mind. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to choose how you respond, to decide what you consume, to shape your own destiny. The world will always tempt you, but it cannot control you unless you let it. Reclaim your mind, build your strength, live with intention. If you want a relationship that is alive, magnetic, and unbreakable, start by mastering yourself. Walk away from what makes you weak. Protect your attention. Practice presence. Embrace vulnerability. Build trust through honesty. Channel your desire into purpose. And never forget, you are the master of your mind, not its servant. Now it's your turn. If you're ready to become the kind of man who leads, who inspires, who loves with courage, commit today. Don't just listen, act. Take one step, however small, towards self-mastery. Your relationships, your confidence, and your legacy depend on it. If this message lit a fire in you, subscribe for more timeless wisdom on Stoicism, masculinity, and building a powerful life. Drop a comment below. Let me know how you're taking control and what challenges you're facing. Remember, you are not alone in this fight. Together, we rise above the noise. Choose strength. Choose discipline. Choose connection. The world needs men who refuse to be ruled by comfort. Be that man.